My husband's first love offered me 100 million yuan. Everyone knew I had openly admired Owen for a long time. It took forever to achieve my dream of marrying him, so I clung to him ceaselessly. Thinking of the 800,000 yuan Owen transferred to my account every month, I truly believed nothing could tear us apart. That was until Owen's first love returned to the country. "I'll give you 100 million yuan, leave him." This isn't about money, really. I just want to help two lovers reunite. Owen's first love, Chloe, had returned. She even arranged a private meeting with me in a VIP room, just the two of us. She looked frail and pitiful, but her voice held an undeniable impatience. "Clara, I know my sudden departure all those years ago broke Owen's heart, giving you a chance to take my place. Thank you for taking care of him all this time, but now I'm back. You should return him to me." Chloe, the woman Owen supposedly kept in his heart, had a gentle, graceful face and sparkling eyes that made people instinctively feel pity, but I felt nothing of the sort. I took a sip of coffee, casually raising my hand to flash my sparkling wedding ring in front of Chloe, then slowly said, "You claim to love Owen, but you treat him like an item that can be casually exchanged. Is that truly love?" Chloe's face paled. Besides, I can't leave him. If you want a divorce, you should go talk to Owen." Chloe choked on her words, finally managing to squeeze out, "If Owen wasn't still angry with me and ignoring me, I wouldn't have to come to you. I know you've liked him for a long time, but you don't have his love. What's the point of clinging to him like this?" Of course, it's interesting. Every month, Owen transfers 800,000 for my spending. With that, nothing can separate us anymore. I didn't expect my attitude to provoke Chloe so much. She gritted her teeth and snapped, 3 million yuan. "I'm not interested. I love Owen deeply. Don't waste your efforts." Inside, I wondered if I should play a love for sale song for Chloe to make her understand that love isn't something you can just buy. Chloe escalated. 100 million yuan, just leave Owen and I'll give you 100 million. 100 million yuan. I'd have to stay with Owen for over 10 years to earn that kind of money, and the prerequisite was that the marriage had to last that long. I put my coffee cup down. Hiding my trembling hand in the moment, I heard that 100 million. "Didn't you ask if I could leave Owen just now? I think I can. This isn't about money, you know. I just want to help two lovers reunite." "Oh, right. Can we sign the contract right now? Is the money pre-tax or post-tax?" Chloe looked heartbroken, but seeing my agreement, she still gritted her teeth and motioned for her bodyguard to bring the contract. I knew 100 million was a huge sum for her, so I offered a sarcastic comfort. "It's all right. They say talking about money hurts feelings. You giving me money will hurt the feelings between Owen and me. It's totally worth the price." Chloe was silent, perhaps too emotional to speak. According to the contract, she needed to transfer a 30 million yuan deposit, with the remaining 70 million to be paid after everything was settled. From this moment on, Chloe was not just Owen's first love, but also my son. Me and the unpaid 70 million. Chloe and I exchanged contact information, said goodbye, and I headed home to start the divorce proceedings. I found the divorce with Owen surprisingly simple. Chloe had said Owen was still angry with her and wouldn't divorce me. I told her not to worry, just to have the money ready. I'd handle it tonight. As I left the VIP room, 30 million yuan had already been transferred to my account. Arriving at the villa where Owen and I lived, I stepped through the door and heard the housekeeper say Owen was already home. He was back much earlier than usual. Owen wore a crisp suit, his handsome face sharp, broad shoulders, narrow waist, and long, straight legs. He was looking down at his phone, seemingly lost in thought. Seeing me enter, he quickly put his phone away, but my eyes were sharp enough to catch a glimpse of the screen. It was a news article about Chloe, the pianist, returning to the country. Chloe wasn't famous enough for the media to report on her automatically, so it was highly likely she had paid for the article. I figured Chloe was just too impatient. After all, Owen clearly still had feelings for her, enough to read news related to her for half the day. It was only a matter of time before they got together. It's just a shame that, due to the difference in information, she was about to lose 100 million for nothing. I was about to open my mouth to propose divorce when I heard Owen speak first. Today is our wedding anniversary. Hearing him say that, I suddenly remembered. It seemed it was true. 3 years ago, I was still Owen's errand girl, sent on countless tasks for his and Chloe's love. The night Chloe left the country, I heard Owen was drowning his sorrows in a bar. I immediately rushed over, wanting to ask if he needed a driver. After all, Owen always paid more than the market rate. But when I arrived, he was already sitting in his car, window down, and I didn't smell any alcohol. Surprisingly, he hadn't been drinking and seemed perfectly sober. I was disappointed and about to leave when Owen called me back. "I know you love me. Do you want to get married?" I knew there were rumors at school that I was clinging to Owen because I liked him, but wouldn't Owen, my walking ATM, know that our relationship was entirely based on money? I only loved money. Before I could retort, Owen's voice rang out again. "I can't give you love, but I can give you 800,000 yuan every month." I was so excited my eyes welled up, my voice trembling. "Love? No, a husband. It's 2 a.m. now. Let's wait until the marriage registry opens and go get the papers done right away." And so, on this very day 3 years ago, we registered our marriage. It's just that we'd never celebrated our anniversary before. After all, it was also the day Chloe left, so Owen was never in the mood to celebrate. People have different joys and sorrows. On Owen's day of sorrow, I would secretly open a bottle of champagne to celebrate finding a job that paid 800,000 yuan a month. "I've made up my mind. No need for celebrations, Owen. Let's get a divorce." As soon as the words left my mouth, the atmosphere fell into a brief silence. Owen stood still, his face expressionless. If I hadn't seen his eyebrows furrowed tightly, a characteristic sign whenever he was deep in thought, I would have thought he hadn't heard a word I said. But what on earth was Owen thinking? Before, because of our quick marriage, his parents had made me sign a prenuptial agreement. We also had no children. Divorce fundamentally had nothing to do with asset division or custody rights. Fortunately, just as I couldn't help but ask, I finally heard his deep voice beside my ear. "Why now?" Owen's gaze settled on me, looking intently. Thinking that if he knew I married him only for money and was now selling him to Chloe, he would surely retaliate, I had to find another excuse. "I've thought it through. What's the point of spending your money every day if I don't have your love?" As I spoke the latter half of the sentence, my voice uncontrollably trembled. It truly hurt. Was this what it felt like to lie against my conscience? Owen's brows slightly relaxed and his eyes dropped from mine. His voice lowered several shades. "From now on, can I give you love?" I wondered if it was my illusion, but I detected a hint of awkwardness in his tone. Moreover, his two words, "love," seemed to carry a slight tremor. However, when I looked up at Owen, he still maintained his usual cold and arrogant demeanor. It seemed that fleeting tremor was just my imagination. I quickly grasped the main point. "Wait, so he won't give me money anymore? What am I supposed to do?" It seemed Owen had already decided this and was just using my question as an opportunity to say it. As for his so-called love, I guessed it was just an excuse not to give me money. After all, the person he truly liked was Chloe. Fortunately, I had acted first. I could still earn 1 billion through Owen. I chuckled coldly inwardly, outwardly displaying disbelief. "But what about Chloe? She's back in the country." Owen's voice grew several shades colder. "She's back, so what does that have to do with me?" Indeed, just as Chloe had said, Owen was still angry. Before, he always clearly mentioned her, but now he didn't even call her by name, only using pronouns, and only dared to secretly read news about her when alone in his room. I quickly caught the slip in his words. "I saw it earlier. You were looking at news about Chloe." Since Owen was my main source of income, I wouldn't have publicly exposed his browsing history if I wasn't desperate. But Owen's reaction wasn't what I expected. He didn't panic at all. I just accidentally clicked on a news notification. This answer truly exceeded my expectations. My gaze fell upon his long, beautiful fingers. How was it that these hands, when they touched my smooth, jade-like skin, never slipped once, always gripping my wrist so tightly I couldn't break free? And on numerous other occasions, his calloused fingertips gently massaged my nape, never showing any sign of slipping. I even thought it was a waste for hands like these not to be a surgeon. I secretly hated myself for not raising my phone to record his expression when he stared at that news article. While I regretted it so much I wanted to rewind time back to the doorway and start over, Owen's calm voice rang out again. Our anniversary. Do you want to celebrate at home or go out? Celebrate what? Didn't he see we were talking about divorce? I looked up and met Owen's somewhat dark eyes. He didn't look happy. It turned out he wasn't as calm as his voice suggested. He clearly wasn't pleased with my divorce proposal. Of course, from childhood, Owen had always been surrounded and pampered by everyone. Throughout that time, he was surely the one who rejected others. No one had ever dared to reject him. I shouldn't have been so proactive in proposing divorce. It backfired. Realizing this, I immediately changed my tone. At home, I'm actually a bit tired today. I immediately regretted it. If I had known that at home would ultimately mean in bed, I would definitely have chosen to go out. I clutched my aching lower back, unable to stop complaining inwardly. Fortunately, after that day, I came up with a perfect plan. After marrying Owen, to prolong this nominal marriage but essentially a rental agreement, I decided to emulate Chloe, diligently studying and imitating her every action. Although my appearance and background differed from hers, I could still learn from other aspects. The moon is unique, but a light bulb can still shine just as brightly. Reality proved my choice was correct. When Owen and I married, everyone we knew thought the marriage wouldn't last long. Some even placed bets on how long our marriage would last because everyone knew Owen loved Chloe, not me. Some guessed 2 or 3 weeks, some a month. The longest wager was only a year. Only one person bet on over a year. However, thanks to my efforts and hard work in maintaining this relationship, Owen and I had been together for 3 years. Of course, except for the person who bet on over a year, everyone else lost miserably, losing both money and face. The reason I knew so much about this bet was, naturally, because the only person who bet on over a year was me. After all, the bet didn't forbid participants from joining, and only I could earn the money related to me. Actually, I also knew very well that the reason I could stay with Owen for so long was that I had tried to create Chloe's image on myself. Now that I wanted a divorce, all I had to do was let go of everything. Chloe liked piano music, so I openly played my playlist on Nettie's cloud, songs I used to only dare to listen to with headphones, now blasting them on speakers, from EDM to DJ music to parody songs. I even changed the music in Owen's car. Chloe was gentle and demure, so I transformed into a capricious wife, making Owen get up in the middle of the night for water, to cook, massage my waist and back, and insisting that fruits had to be grown by his own hands. I thought Owen would get angry enough to throw the divorce papers on the table sooner or later. But no, he didn't get angry at all. I changed the music in his car, and Owen merely said calmly, "These songs are good too." Even when I woke him up in the middle of the night, he wasn't annoyed, only asked if I had a nightmare, and then seriously researched garden projects. Owen's unconditional indulgence almost made me waver, thinking that continuing like this wouldn't be so bad. Are you kidding me? The moment I received Chloe's message, I immediately sobered up. I carefully glanced at Owen, confirming he wasn't paying attention to the incoming message. My caution was for a reason. For convenience, I had befriended Chloe's secondary WeChat account. Who knew that the first time she messaged me, Owen almost found out? At that time, I had just entered the bathroom to shower, thinking Owen wasn't home yet, so I didn't bring my phone. Unexpectedly, a special message notification rang out. It was the sound I had set specifically for Chloe. I hurriedly rushed out of the bathroom, just in time to see Owen bending down, about to pick up my phone. The moment I realized the situation, I immediately snatched the phone before he could see the message content. It was a question from Chloe: "How's the progress?" Oh, our wedding anniversary. Although I hadn't fulfilled my promise of divorce yet, after I reassured Chloe, she gave me a few more days. During this time, she often messaged me, reminiscing about her time with Owen. Who knew this time Owen would catch us? But the problem was, I couldn't guess if he saw the message content. The moment our eyes met, I heard his voice, tinged with a hint of grievance, "Isn't this my special ringtone?" I froze for a few seconds before understanding what he meant. I didn't expect him to still remember this. Before, for a long time, This ringtone was indeed reserved for Owen because he often spontaneously assigned me all sorts of tasks. Once, he even asked me to brainstorm date ideas for him, but I was busy then and missed his message, resulting in the surprise he prepared for Chloe failing miserably. After that, I learned a profound lesson and decided to set a special ringtone for him so I could immediately receive his messages. He had also heard this ringtone back then. At that time, he casually asked what was happening, and after hearing the reason, he didn't even react. That's why I felt at ease using this ringtone for Chloe. I originally thought he didn't care about it at all. Who knew he not only remembered it clearly but remembered it until now? Owen's voice deepened, cold as ice. I don't message you now, yet you let someone else use my ringtone. Is that person more important than me in your heart? Hearing him say that, I secretly breathed a sigh of relief. This meant he hadn't seen the message content. I quickly made an excuse, saying it was a ringtone for an important client of the company. Fortunately, earlier, wanting free time to be lazy, I had refused to work at his company and chose a smaller, less stressful one. However, this incident also made me more vigilant. I no longer dared to let my phone leave me. I even set Chloe's ringtone to silent mode to prevent old issues from recurring. Time passed bit by bit, yet Owen still showed no intention of bringing up divorce, which made me a little anxious. Just then, an opportunity came my way. Someone invited Owen to a party. I accompanied him as Mrs. Owen, taking the opportunity to expand my network. As soon as I entered the banquet hall, I saw a familiar figure, Chloe. Not only did I see her, but Owen did too. A hint of surprise seemed to flash in his eyes. After all, Chloe wasn't on the guest list, but after I intentionally revealed Owen's whereabouts to her, she happily came to the party. Seeing Chloe, the pure and bright girl like moonlight in his heart, Owen would surely realize how fake I was. Although he quickly averted his gaze, I still caught that moment of distraction. On the other side, Chloe also saw us. As she approached, her face revealed undisguised joy. I felt a slight regret, thinking if only she had looked our way a bit earlier, she would surely have caught Owen's gaze. According to the plan, at this moment, I should withdraw and leave the stage for the two of them. I made an excuse, saying I saw an acquaintance and wanted to go chat for a bit. Before, I had attended many parties with Owen and knew quite a few people. However, just as I was about to leave, Owen tightly grasped my wrist. "I'll go with you." I regretted not using the excuse of going to the restroom, inadvertently giving Owen an opportunity to intervene. But he was truly difficult. He had finally reunited with Chloe, yet he didn't seize the opportunity and was still playing hard to get. I was about to switch to another excuse when Chloe arrived in front of us. Her gentle eyes and soft voice, like water, said, "Oh, Owen, long time no see." Owen casually responded with a sound, his tone very calm, completely contrasting with the excitement in Chloe's words. But he was always that kind of person. Chloe was obviously used to it. At this moment, she finally noticed my presence. "Oh, Ms. Clara is here too, huh?" I smiled and greeted Chloe. As she looked up, she met her suspicious gaze, clearly wondering why I hadn't left yet. I subtly raised my wrist, still tightly held by Owen, signaling that I didn't want to go, but I couldn't. Chloe's expression immediately changed. The smile was still on her lips, but when her eyes rested on Owen's and my tightly clasped hands, it was as if she wished she could carve a hole into them. "You too, this is." I tried to use my eyes to hint to Chloe that it was just a misunderstanding, but Owen didn't give her a chance to speak, ruthlessly cutting her off. "My wife saw an acquaintance. I need to accompany her. Excuse us." The smile on Chloe's lips showed signs of crumbling. Seeing the situation I had painstakingly created about to end so quickly, I hurriedly pulled Owen back. "I just want to have a private chat with her for a bit. You can talk freely with Miss Chloe." Only then did Owen reluctantly let go of my hand. Seizing the opportunity, I immediately put on my high heels and fled. Are you kidding? Everyone in this circle knew that Owen and Chloe were once madly in love. If the three of us stood together, we would definitely become the center of attention. But for the sake of the remaining 70 million yuan, I was willing to yield the stage to Chloe. When I was sure I was out of sight of Owen and Chloe, I finally stopped, sighing in relief, and found a secluded corner to sit and eat. Unexpectedly, even then, I was targeted by someone else. A waiter carrying a tray of wine approached. I saw the glass of red wine on the tray and intended to refuse, as I don't drink, but when I looked up, I recognized the person, my biological father, Mr. Chu. He had a handsome face, but his eyes hid an insatiable greed. Clara, I noticed you as soon as you entered the hall. I can't believe you actually married into a wealthy family. Now that you're rich, shouldn't you help your father a little? I laughed coldly. I couldn't believe Mr. Chu hadn't changed. That year, he always claimed to love my mother and me, but he took advantage of my mother's serious illness to extract her bank card password, then emptied all the money in our house and fled, forcing me to borrow money for my mother's medical treatment. At that time, I was only in high school, working and studying to pay off debts. After I paid off the debts, he reappeared, saying he had lost a large sum in gambling and wanted me to pay it for him, invoking our father-daughter relationship. When I said I had no money, he laid hands on me right outside the school gate, simply because he didn't believe I truly had nothing. At that time, I was saving money for university tuition, eating only one free bowl of porridge from the canteen each day, and was no match for a grown man. Fortunately, a kind stranger pushed him to the ground and called the police, scaring him away. In the end, Mr. Chu couldn't pay his debts, was beaten half to death by creditors, and then went to prison for a series of other crimes, disappearing from my life. I never expected him to appear here today. It seemed he was out of prison. I sneered, "What if I don't?" Mr. Chu's face immediately changed, his fierce expression clear. "Then don't blame me for making a scene and letting everyone know that Mrs. Owen has a father who's been to prison. How do you think your husband will look at you then? Will the Owen family still accept you?" "Owen will obviously look with his eyes." I heard Mr. Chu still wanting to drag Owen into this, and I felt a bit restless. After all, Chloe had finally gotten a chance to be alone with Owen. How could I let him ruin it? I let out a soft laugh, leaning closer to Mr. Chu, and whispered in a voice only we could hear, "Who do you think reported your whereabouts to your creditors back then, causing you to be beaten until one of your legs was crippled? And who actively provided documents to send you to prison?" Mr. Chu's pupils constricted sharply, and his brows furrowed. I slowly said, "If you ever dare to appear in front of me again, I can let you experience that feeling one more time." I knew Mr. Chu had always thought he was unlucky and never suspected me, who was just a high school student at the time. After all, back then, I always seemed to be rushing to earn money to help him. But Mr. Chu chuckled, pulled out a voice recorder from his pocket, and dangled it in front of me. "I have a voice recorder with me. I've recorded everything you just said. How much are you willing to pay to buy it back? If I tell Owen your true colors, do you think he'll divorce you?" The next second, he was knocked to the ground, but the one who struck was not me. I turned my head and saw that the person who had knocked down Mr. Chu was Owen himself. I didn't know when he had appeared beside us. He crouched down, his eyes level with Mr. Chu's, and slowly said, "Are you his father?" Although Owen's expression and tone were very calm, they revealed a dark, brutal pressure. Few people knew that the outwardly cold Owen had actually trained in boxing, and this punch of his clearly held nothing back. Half of Mr. Chu's face immediately swelled up, and he stammered, "Do you know who I am? I am Clara's father." Before he could finish, Owen, without hesitation, landed another punch. This was the first time I had seen Owen like this, and I couldn't help but be stunned. Behind us, Chloe was slowly approaching, clearly as surprised as I was, standing there frozen, not daring to step forward. At this moment, more and more people noticed the situation and gradually gathered around. Owen, who had been gripping Mr. Chu's collar, suddenly paused for a few seconds, then delivered several more punches, even harder than before. Just then, the host of the party rushed over and bravely stepped in to separate them. Owen took a deep breath, his expression returning to composure, saying he would cover all the costs of today's party. The host, of course, found it inconvenient to say anything more and didn't inquire about the reason Owen hit someone, simply ordering people to carry Mr. Chu away. I watched Mr. Chu, who had been so arrogant just moments ago, now being carried away like that. Chloe also noticed Owen had calmed down and was about to approach, but Owen walked directly past her, straight to me, and said in a voice only we could hear, "An acquaintance of yours." After I explained Mr. Chu's identity, Owen suddenly said to me, "I'm sorry." This was the first time in my memory that Owen apologized. I'm fine, I don't have a good relationship with him anyway. I had to say, watching Owen beat Mr. Chu, I truly felt a great sense of satisfaction. I didn't even need to find someone to deal with him anymore. After this lesson, Mr. Chu probably wouldn't dare to appear in front of us for a while. Hearing me say that, Owen seemed to want to say something but held back. After a few seconds of silence, he finally opened his mouth. From now on, I will definitely protect you. Owen's words made my heart tremble slightly. During the days when Mr. Chu harassed me, I often wished someone would stand up and protect me. But unfortunately, until now, I had always been alone, protecting my mother and myself. This was the first time someone said they wanted to protect me, and that person was Owen. From the corner of my eye, I caught sight of Chloe in the distance, staring like a tiger stalking its prey. I quickly composed myself. Come on, Clara. Wasn't the lesson from Mr. Chu enough? Looking at Owen's serious eyes in front of me, if it weren't for the inappropriate situation, I would really want to ask him if he had some leverage over me. Why had he always indulged me before, and then suddenly said he wanted to protect me? But what I was most curious about was why Owen had suddenly appeared and directly attacked Mr. Chu. Facing my question, Owen said nothing this time. With such an incident, Owen seemed to no longer be in the mood to attend the banquet and led me away midway. As we were about to exit the hall, I suddenly remembered Mr. Chu's voice recorder. When he was carried away on the stretcher, his hands were empty, there was clearly no recorder. But when I went back to search, I only found a few broken white pieces of it. I guessed it had been trampled by the crowd and was no longer salvageable. I could only leave. In the car, Owen suddenly spoke. Chloe and I have nothing, I've let go of her. I responded indifferently while secretly checking Chloe's messages. Clearly, after Owen left, she also became disheartened, continuously sending several messages. Chloe's anger was practically spilling off the screen. She had originally intended to reminisce about old times with Owen, but unexpectedly, someone came to flatter him, ruining their private time. Chloe's message read, Owen's face was very unpleasant too. He originally wanted to take me somewhere else to talk, but then we ran into you and that waiter. What exactly happened between you and him to cause such a commotion? So that's what it was. No wonder Owen appeared so suddenly. It turned out he was looking for a quiet place with Chloe. He said he no longer cared, but his actions were surprisingly honest. Just earlier, he had vehemently said he would protect me. A strange feeling suddenly rose in my heart, a touch of bitterness. Perhaps for a moment, when I looked into Owen's eyes as he spoke those promising words, I had actually believed him for a few seconds. Fortunately, Owen spoke just in time. What are you looking at? I regained my composure, changed the page, and found an excuse. After the incident with Mr. Chu, I had learned to quickly adjust my emotions. I secretly thought, I thought Owen was a devoted lover, but he's just another playboy. Back home, while Owen was showering, I finally had time to reply to messages one by one. The sound of water in the bathroom stopped. Guessing he had finished showering, I immediately changed the page. Owen walked out in a bathrobe, but the tie was not securely fastened as usual, only loosely draped around his waist, revealing his toned, water-streaked abs. Before, he either dressed completely covered or wore nothing at all. This half-covered look was a first, making me unable to resist glancing a few more times. By the time I realized I was lost in thought, Owen had already pinned me down on the bed. His body was still damp, his skin hot, his handsome face inches away. I couldn't deny that Owen was truly very handsome. Even though I was used to his face, my heart still skipped a beat when he leaned in close. But I quickly sobered up and pushed him away. I still have work to do. Owen's eyes flashed with a hint of resentment. In front of him, I opened the company's internal chat group and started filling out forms. Owen was also intently looking at his phone. At first, I thought he was checking work, but looking closely, I discovered he was reading a tabloid article with a sensational headline, "Learn these things to capture your wife's heart." The first line instructed on how to create personal charm, for example, wearing a bathrobe casually. Oh. Perhaps sensing my gaze, Owen finally reacted, quickly changing the page before turning to look at me. But I was one step faster, averting my gaze, only observing him with the corner of my eye. Owen didn't realize I was secretly watching, nor did he continue reading that article. While I found it baffling, I really wanted to interview him a bit. What was the real reason behind his sudden actions? But thinking about the possibility of him turning angry out of embarrassment, I gave up, only secretly speculating that it was probably related to Chloe. The last plan failed, so I seriously learned from the experience and decided to directly invite Chloe to our house, intentionally choosing a time when Owen was present to avoid him getting suspicious. Chloe even actively told me to hide the fact that we had been in private contact before, pretending to visit for something important to discuss. Owen told the housekeeper to open the door, but his tone was extremely cold. "What is it? Just say it directly." Chloe's smile stiffened slightly. "You can't make me stand outside the door to talk, can you?" Initially, I intended to observe from a distance, but seeing this scene, I immediately rushed forward, trying to build a bridge of love for them. "She's already here, hurry and let her in." Finally, Chloe was allowed into the house. As soon as she entered, she began to appraise the decor. "So you still remember I like this color palette?" But Owen coldly replied, "Clara likes it." Chloe was speechless for a moment. I really wanted to bang my head against the wall. Why was he denying it now? Back then, right after marrying me, Owen had countless properties at his disposal and casually chose one to be our shared home. After Chloe left, Owen was in a bad mood, so he left all the decorating to me. Owen didn't have any particular preferences for interior design, so I just relied on my personal taste. I never expected it to coincide with Chloe's. Chloe's face stiffened, and she didn't bring up the matter again, instead following us into the living room and sitting on the sofa. Chloe looked at Owen with a complicated expression. "I feel that after returning to the country, the distance between us has grown much larger." Inwardly, I nodded in agreement. The distance was indeed great. Even our seating arrangement was much farther apart than before. Owen and I huddled together on one side of the sofa, while Chloe sat alone on a single chair. The distance between the three of us was like a chasm. This time, Owen finally responded, but the moment he opened his mouth, I wanted to clap my hand over it. "We should indeed keep our distance. I have a wife, and I love her very much." My mind immediately went blank. Although Owen had occasionally mentioned he would give me love before, this was the first time he directly said he loved me, and right in front of Chloe. Although I couldn't clearly see my own expression at that moment, from the corner of my eye, I saw Chloe's expression as if she had been struck by lightning. Perhaps my face was no better than hers at the moment. By the time I came to my senses, a voice recorder had appeared in Chloe's hand. It was the one that went missing at the party the other day. It turned out Chloe had picked it up. She had clearly listened to all the content inside, which was why she could say with such certainty, "Do you know what kind of person she is? She personally sent her own father to prison and sold you to me for 100 million. Every day, she discusses with me how to push you towards me." I was speechless. After all, everything she said was true. Chloe and I both looked at Owen, waiting for his reaction. Unexpectedly, Owen's focus fell on the latter part of her statement. "You talk to her every day. Is that you, Chloe?" "Yes, that's right." Owen's brows relaxed and the corners of his lips slightly curved. He even smiled. "So that's what it was. I thought someone else was trying to seduce her." Could it be that all of Owen's recent strange behaviors were for this reason? Chloe looked like she had a belly full of curses, but before she could open her mouth, Owen cut her off. "Chloe Group is having problems. Can you still come up with 100 million now?" Chloe froze on the spot, then was escorted away looking dejected. But at this moment, I no longer had the mind to be angry about her tricking me. I only knew that my mind was in a complete mess, so I stood up and said to Owen, "Now that Chloe's gone, I'll go too." "You're going?" Owen looked up at me, his tone still as cold as ever but with a hint of helplessness. "This is our home. Where else do you want to go?" Good question, but right now, I just wanted some peace and quiet. Fortunately, I quickly realized that it wasn't just me who needed quiet. Owen's ears were flushed red, and the redness spread to his face, but he grabbed my hand and pulled me forcefully, making me fall into his arms. Owen's voice softly sounded in my ear. "I'm very happy. Before, I always worried that you talked to other people because you loved them, and I even thought about using money to make them leave you." My face darkened. I really wanted to tell him that giving money to the opponent was better than giving it to his teammate. Owen looked up at me intently. I love you. We went to the same high school. When I passed by your classroom, I heard someone say you only loved money and told you that you should look up at the vast sky instead of just focusing on the coin on the ground. You frankly replied that what you were looking at wasn't just a coin, but your entire days spending money. The first time we talked was when you were stopped outside the school gate. Hearing Owen's story, I realized that the person who helped me get out of that situation with Mr. Chu was him. I thought it was just a fleeting encounter, never expecting us to reunite later. When I went to university, I recognized you at first glance. But because my parents and the Chloe family had close ties, I always thought I should marry Chloe. Her sudden departure actually made me breathe a sigh of relief. When I was sick, you were the one who took care of me. When no one believed me, you were the only one who stood by me. That time I had a stomach ache at the wine party, you were the one who shielded me from drinking. I couldn't even remember doing so many things for him, but the bitterness I felt because of Chloe's appearance suddenly vanished without a trace. Owen continued, "It's okay that you approach me for money. As long as you stay by my side, I've investigated Mr. Chu's matter. I don't think you did anything wrong. I'm sorry I came too late. I have a lot of love and I have a lot of money. If money can buy your love, then I want to buy your entire life." This was truly a confession one couldn't refuse. Owen continued, "So, stay with me for the rest of your life, okay?" I felt Owen's kiss on my lips. I decided that after the kiss, I would definitely return the money to Chloe.